Yay! Episode 6. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. Where are you in the world? You're not with me, which is weird.
Northampton, Massachusetts.
Oh, what for?
I am teaching at Smith College for the next 5 weeks. My first class is tomorrow.
Exciting. And you
Yes.
made time for the podcast.
Yeah, sure did.
Should we get right into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Well, this is a fun one for anybody who knows me. I've been just testing out this. Do you remember how we met? And if so, how would you tell that story?
Well, I was coming home from a interview at, I want to say Craig Hospital, but I'm not positive where I was coming from. And I stopped at Queer Inspired Poetry. I think it was Queer Inspired Poetry at that time. It used to be Lip, but then it turned into Quip. So it was lesbian inspired poetry, and then it was queer inspired poetry. Anyway, and then you showed up, and that's where we met. You were also at Quip, right?
So, yeah, so much color missing from your version of the story, but we'll save that for another episode. Okay. Let's do a quick intro. So for folks who don't know you, they don't know about your background, they don't know what you're up to. Who are you? Why are you here? What do you do?
Yeah. So I'm Dr. Amanda Baranski. I'm a clinical social worker, a licensed natural medicine provider in training, very close to being done with the training part. And I'm a professor at MSU, here at Smith College over the summer. I am a spouse and a parent of our two tiny humans,
Okay,
Smoogie Poos.
let's do your whole intro over again. Let's cut that version of the intro. Let's do it from the top. Just so you have a chance to do it smooth. You sounded confused about some of the things you were saying, and they're all true.
Okay.
Tell us who you are, what you do, why you're here. Just give us a little bit of background on your humanness.
Okay. I am Dr. Amanda Baranski. I am a mother of two tiny humans, a spouse. I am a professor at Metro during the summer, at least this summer at Smith, and I'm a licensed natural medicine provider in Denver, where I own a microhealing center.
Which is what?
It is a place where people can do psilocybin in the regulated model.
Which means what?
um, above board per the law, do psilocybin for healing and growth and another way to do to heal.
Got it. Good. Okay, let's start with the hard question. I'm glad you haven't listened to any of the interviews because you would have known this is coming. But it's more fun if you don't, I think. Okay. Okay. What's something everyone believes that you think is completely wrong?
Everyone believes that there is some sort of something that they can't do. So there's like a limit on certain things that they can do. And I don't believe there is one. I think that when it comes to self-growth or healing, people think they can't heal all the way because they've been through hard things. And I really do believe that healing a person into a whole unit can actually happen. Or like Elliot wants to be a soccer star, go for it, dude. Like you can do this. Like I mean just like anything like that. There's some sort of limit we have in our mind. Even before we start trying something, you know,
Hmm.
there's already a limit.
Yeah. What's your experience or where does that come from for you?
Oh, well, I wanted to be a physician when I was in high school. I wanted to be a doctor, like a real doctor, you know? And um and I thought because I was bad at math and couldn't spell that I would never be able to do it. And I like decided that one day when I was sitting in the first day of anatomy and physiology that I quickly got out of. I was like, there's no way I'm ever going to be able to map this body and spell it correctly. Honestly, that was the moment I was like, I'm done with this. I can't do it.
Hmm.
But the reality is, I could have. I could have done it. But I had that moment where I'm like, well, if I can't do this, or if I try this, I am going to fail. So I left and I never came back. And I gave up on that dream.
Hmm.
But I took a different route and I became a different kind of doctor, which I think suits me much better.
So do you regret that?
I regret that I didn't give myself a chance, but I don't regret that it turned out the way it did.
Hmm. That makes sense.
Mhm.
Good answer.
Thank you.
Hmm. Okay. Here's a gray question. When did you last sit in the squish on purpose, and what was it about?
Hmm. Well, anytime we talk about ethics in social work or ethics in um, psilocybin, natural medicine in general, there is an inherent squish at this time. I am really trying to rewire my brain to not be so black and white in my thinking and or so, the dichotomy, whether it be black and white or whatever. Um, and I'm learning that the line in the ethics of psilocybin has to be squishy in the middle, and I hope it always stays that way because we're always going to have. At this point, I don't think the regulated model will ever go away because it's already here, but we'll always have a regulated model, and hopefully, we'll also always have other ways to experience the medicine, including the with indigenous providers or in the decriminalized model where people can do and grow medicine and take it on their own um, in their own way according to the law because it's decriminalized. And so there's always going to be this smushy spot
Hmm.
where the regulated model is over here and there's other things happening on a spectrum. And a spectrum is not something I like usually because I like there to be a this way or that way. So learning to talk to people in the spectrum and speak in a way that people will listen and not automatically cancel you is a really challenging thing when it comes to ethics and law and rule making and all of those things.
Hmm. Can you tell us more about your experience in that domain?
Yeah, so the Natural Medicine Act of I think 2024 in Colorado um, was signed, and the law was I would say the rulemaking quotation marks because it's not really finished. Um, oh God, I need to start over. What was the
That's
question?
okay. That's okay. Tell us more about your experience and background with ethics.
Oh, well, in social work, the code of ethics has been around for a very long time. And in social work school, you learn about the code of ethics, you learn to follow the code of ethics. It's also some things that are like the we appreciate the dignity and worth of a human. Well, what in God's name does that look like in practice? I don't know if the language is appreciate, but like dignity and worth of the person. There are easy ones like confidentiality. Yes, okay, so confidentiality is if you participate in confidentiality, you are acting ethically in your work. So with psilocybin, there are some of those things. There are some confidentiality things. There are some you're healing a whole person, like, but there's also some of those things that can be more squishy. What is a dual relationship? That's a big question in this work because for thousands of years, natural medicine has been done as a community in the community you live. You don't go, it didn't go outside of the community to have an experience and come back in. No, it was with your family, people you spent every moment with. And we shouldn't, in my opinion, take that out of the regulated model. So dual relationships have to be, there has to be a more squishy definition of what that means. Whereas in social work, it's very clear. Dual relationships, there's an outline, what it means, da 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 da. But in natural medicine, it's not as clear because it shouldn't be.
Hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, this is a good transition. So, what are you working on right now that you're most excited about?
Oh, gracious. Okay. What am I most excited about?
Hmm.
I am so excited to be a hub for this regulated psychedelic space. We have a space that folks can use to meet with their clients. We a regulated space where we have natural medicine that is provided by regulated manufacturers or cultivators, well, and both. Um, and we can be that hub that connects people to the space that they can do the medicine and connects people to the medicine. So it's kind of like this beautiful web of healing that we get to be involved in, and it's just so wonderful to have a piece of that. You know, there are people that come to me and say, "I really want to help this person, and I don't know how we're going to make it happen." And we can have a conversation with them about what does this look like? How can we help you so that you are able to provide what this person needs? It's very cool.
Yeah. Can you tell us more for people who don't know the model? Why is it a big deal to have a facilitator hub? Like, why does that even matter?
So, in order to use the regulated model, you can only practice with the medicine in a licensed healing center, whether that be a micro healing center or a regular healing center. The only difference is how much medicine you can have on hand. Um, and there aren't very many of us at this point. More are popping up, and some people are just using their space to see their own people, and other folks need a space to see people. So we have a beautiful space that we found that is that provides us 4 rooms to use as we wish. And so 2 of them are for specifically for medicine journeys and to take people to for facilitators to come in and use our space for healing
Hmm.
in the
And
regulated model.
right. And why is that a big deal for facilitators?
So facilitators don't have to go through the whole experience of getting their own place licensed. I've heard so many people say, well, I wanted to use my office, but I can't because of the regulations. Okay, we hear you, and that if you need a space to go, we're here for you. And facilitators don't need to have a physical space that they're paying for monthly if that's not the work that they're doing all the time. A lot of folks are coming in as what I would call a regular therapist. They're also psychedelic assisted therapists, and so they can come in and do their regulated natural medicine work in the space and then continue either telehealth, which a lot of folks are doing, or in-person therapy wherever they're doing that, and not have to go through the regulated model to get a space licensed, which is challenging at this point.
Yeah, you're definitely pointing to, I mean, what I'm hearing you saying is it's difficult, right? There's lots of compliance hoops that must be jumped through. Plus, it's
Yes.
expensive, not just the space, but the licensing.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, you then have a healing center that you
Right.
have to figure out what to do, the capacity, right? Bringing other folks. Like I mean, it is a business, right? It's a pretty classic service business model that most therapists are currently sitting in more of, I would call like a solopreneur type of model. And that
Right.
type of cost and overhead just doesn't would not make sense for them.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And at this point, it's very important for people to separate. If you own a healing center and and that it touches mushrooms often, it's hard to separate businesses. So, not having to do that because you're coming in and renting space and leaving,
Mm,
it can be really helpful.
yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. Anything else about the micro healing center or journeys that you think everyone should know about?
Well, yes, I think everyone should have an experience with psilocybin. And the reason is because it's a totally different kind of healing. And I say that as I am and was a therapist for the past 15 or so years. And rewiring your neural pathways in your brain is something that is challenging to do without this medicine that helps open up those synapses. So people say that's like 8 years of therapy in one day. Maybe not 8 years, maybe 7 years of therapy in one day, but it really helps you look at things differently. I was just talking to someone who is interested in doing a session, and I said, one of the things that people say to me when they first come out is that maybe whatever they wanted didn't happen immediately. It wasn't like, I came out and I'm happy now every day, all the time. But um, someone recently said to me, I'm not as quick to anger. I'm not as, mm, let's go with the quick to anger example. Like there isn't a thought and action at the same time. There's a thought, pause, action. So that pause came because of the rewiring of synapses in the brain for this person after their first hero's dose trip in the regulated space. And we were able to name that and practice it because it's not like it's practicing it is really important. That's why integration is so important. So you can say, this is what's happening. And we can talk about how do you make that last the longest lasting it can. And just gaining that pause has been life changing for people.
Hmm. What are other outcomes that you've heard that stick in your mind, or any that you've experienced or that you've heard from other facilitators?
Oh, so many. Um, uh, Medical trauma, that being able to experience something a different way. So looking at what happened, let's say, to someone with cancer, like they went through this horrible experience, ended up on the other side, still on Earth, let's be clear, but was able to then go into their experience and experience what happened with their loved ones with them. God, I don't know how to explain that. Um, they were able to see their experience from a different lens, from their own lens, but a lens they didn't know they had. So see it in a different way. Like it gives you, yeah.
And what's the impact of that for people?
Priceless. The impact is that they're able to move on with their life. Like they're not stuck in this loop of, oh, well, now my identity is cancer survivor. No, my identity is mother, spouse, daughter, sister, and I survived cancer.
Hmm, cool. Anything else about journeys or psilocybin that you'd want to share?
Hmm, I don't think so.
Okay, good. Shifting gears a little bit. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your rewire and how does it help you rise?
Okay. Um, I would say that my rewire is recognizing that life informs learning and learning informs life. So, after our firstborn was born, I had severe postpartum depression. It was awful. And I was on my like what else is there that I can do? Because medicine's not working. Like traditional SSRI wasn't working. And so I experienced ketamine. And I don't even know how that came up, but I did a 6 session IV ketamine, and it brought me out of it. It was amazing. It was like I was not digging my hole deeper. I was not, I was able to get out of it. And the boost that it gave me with neuroplasticity, whatever it was, it helped me. So my life informed me that I needed to do this work. Like I needed to see what this was all about. And at the time, I didn't have that wasn't like with therapy. So there was no preparation, there was no integration after these ketamine sessions. It was high COVID. So like we were still masked, nobody could come in, all the things. And so the nothing like no therapy with it. But I realized that, oh, okay, so if we do this and we add therapy, we add someone with mental health experience, what kind of change could that do? Because the medicine did so much already. You add this other thing that we know helps people, we have evidence it helps people also, put them together, and there's this beautiful, magical, what, amalgamation, what's that word? Like,
Mhm.
whatever, bringing it together. I said it.
Amalgamation?
I
Yeah.
have no idea. Well, anyway, it morphs together to become this like perfect equation for healing. And so, in a couple years later, I don't remember, whatever. I heard about a psychedelics training, and this person told me that the training application was due the next day. And so I went home and did it. And I got in to Naropa, their last cohort of this training. So I got really lucky. And I did the ketamine training with it. So you do 150 hours of training in altered states of consciousness. Then you do a 40-hour training with any medicine you want to work with. So at that point, uh, I did a 40-hour training with ketamine. And then a few months later, I went to Oregon and did the psilocybin training. But so my experience as a mother with postpartum depression led to this training that I did. So more learning. And then now I teach a class on psychedelic assisted therapy. So it's like this like cyclical learn experience, and I feel grateful that I get to do work that allows me to take classes and to teach what I want to teach and to create um, classes for students to learn about these things. I didn't have a psychedelics class in any school I was in, and I probably wouldn't have taken it at the time because I like this right wrong situation.
Good answer.
Thanks.
How did you say the name of the Rewire again?
Life informs learning, learning informs life.
Hmm. And what would you add anything on in the context of all of that happened and you decided at some point during that learning, I think, that you wanted to open a micro healing center? Is that part of it for you or is that a separate?
Um, uh, I think I always knew that I wanted to be um, someone that helps other people do the work. Like I didn't know, I didn't know then that I wanted to do the work, but I knew that I wanted to be a vessel for the work to be done. So it started with I'm going to learn how to do this, and then I'm going to create a space that it can be done, and maybe or maybe not do it myself.
Hmm. Yeah, so it sounds like it did fit in there somewhere.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're number 34, the license. And I think there are only actually like 25 that were licensed when I got licensed.
right. And just to kind of wrap up the healing center full circle,
Hmm.
what makes, if somebody wanted to do a journey, what makes the micro healing center a good fit for them?
Oh, we work with lots of facilitators that have specialties in different things. Like for me, I specialize in brain injury or comma, separately, ambiguous loss, um, life transition sort of things. And then we have a facilitator that focuses on palliative care. So someone who is experiencing the not necessarily end of life, but palliative care, or end of life, either, could go to Dr. Andy, and then their caregivers could come to me. Like we just have so many people who are associated with the healing center that we could find it fit for anyone, truly.
Hmm.
And fit is so important. Like if you've got to know, I love that people talk to more than one person about this work because not only do you need to have a good feeling about them, like this is very intuitive, you're digging deep into your soul work. Make sure that that person sitting next to you feel comfortable with, at least comfortable enough to talk with them and to come up with a plan and to, trust them enough to not surrender if you want to, um, but know that ego death is going to happen.
One way or another, your ego
Yeah,
shall die.
your ego shall die, and you should feel really good about who's with you.
Hmm. Is there anything else on the business side of it that makes the model unique?
No, luckily I don't have to do any of that. It's all you.
Good
Yeah,
answer.
therapists not may. I know that I'm not good at the business side. I know that very well. Like I don't like talking about it. I don't like I don't like any of that part of it. The business piece. I am so grateful that I have you to deal with that because I would not have done this if it weren't for you. Truly. Because
Hmm.
I just it's not me.
I wish
Neither,
that people
neither
listening to the
mine.
podcast, just
Yes.
Amanda just put her hands up and was
Yeah.
like, nah, nah.
Nope. Nope. Not doing it.
That's great. The only other thing I would add, just in the context of the micro healing center specifically, is that we're really working on accessibility,
Hmm.
right? So, how do we create opportunities for people to have a journey where they're not automatically priced out? Like it is in most of the market and most of the industry, it's a pretty, it's a higher end offering. And we're working with testing and piloting ways to make it really accessible and affordable for regular people, which, you said everyone. And I'm over here like, yes, everyone. And especially, people who don't don't do or have access to this kind of thing.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. We are a hub. Together, we are a hub.
Okay. We're testing this out. This is a question from one of our followers.
Oh,
And it's Pride Month, so it's very gay, the question.
perfect. You're wearing a gay shirt, so
It's not a gay
V.
shirt, but it does
Oh,
seem a little gay, doesn't it?
yeah.
This is a local brand. It's called Belong. Okay. You ready for the follower question?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is from an ally. So this person identifies as straight.
Mm.
And the question is something I struggle with as it relates to the queer population as an ally is how to say the right thing, make sure I'm supportive without overdoing it. Or how can we ask questions to our queer friends in a way where we're trying to learn to be better, but I also might make a mistake?
Well, if you come to conversations knowing that you're speaking in draft, you're not necessarily speaking. If you, let me try again. I think you should go into a conversation knowing you're going to make a mistake so that when you are corrected, it's not a big deal. Like be accepting of the fact that you're going to make mistakes and apologize. There can be ruptures in conversations and there can be repair. Like I know people who if you get their pronouns wrong, they're upset but they won't say anything. But if you come in with an attitude of I'm doing my best and I would love to know what to say, then that's great. If you come in and say, "Hey, do you use pronouns?" or "Hey, I what should I call you?" You know? And some people are just want to use their names. Some people do want to use pronouns. So, just being open to it. And I think there's a fear in some people. I'm saying this as a professor. There's a fear in some people to um, get it wrong because they don't want to be yelled at or whatever. But like if you expect it, it's a wholly different experience because you're expecting to be corrected and it's not going to make you say, "Oh my, I am so sorry. Let me kiss your feet." No, 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 no. Just, okay, got it. They, them. Perfect. Thanks for telling me. I didn't know.
Good answer. I also really, I would just add to that. I agree with everything you said. And I always really appreciate my pronouns are they, them, and people get them wrong constantly. And I'm not someone who it doesn't hurt my feelings. I generally don't even react to it. But it feels really good when they're right, when people get it right. So there is a difference.
Hmm.
Um, and one of the things that I really appreciate is when people just acknowledge that they're trying. Like when they communicate to me directly, like I am trying. I'm like, good on you. Like that does trigger something for me that sort of takes some of the sting out when it can start to feel like persistent and like sometimes even purposeful. Like, my pronouns are they, them, and you're choosing not to use them. But when that person reminds you, like, oh, hey, I'm really trying. I'm sorry, I'm not getting it. Like, I think that's a pretty likable communication skill.
Yeah, and eventually you'll get it. Like we talked about that pause when you're literally rewiring the synapses in your brain. A- At first, every person that appears to you to be he or she, you're going to immediately say he or she. But you're going to train yourself to pause. And that happens by being an active ally, by being a person who actually asks the questions, is okay and with being corrected by either you or someone. Like you should also be correcting people. if you notice it in a very kind way, but that helps you create your pause too. When you notice and act. And we can just say like, they, them. Like just quick, just that's all, like,
Yeah.
okay, move along. But
Yes.
they, them. Yeah.
I 1,000% agree with you. Also on the don't apologize. It's so weird as the person who gets apologized to all the time. I'm like, now I feel you just put your ick on me. Like don't be
Yeah.
sorry. Just like try. That's all. Yeah, great
Yep.
answer. Okay. This is a fun one. You ready?
Yep. Oh boy.
It has to be psychedelic related because it's the closing question, and you're our
Oh,
first guest that is wholly engrossed in the psychedelic space.
I sure am.
Okay, so what is one natural medicine that you haven't tried that you want to try, and why do you want to try it? Like, what's the appeal?
Does it have to be natural medicine? Or can it be just a psychedelic?
A psychedelic. Sorry, let me
Oh.
restate the question. What is one psychedelic that you really want to try that you've never tried that has lots of appeal to you, and why?
Um, I've heard a lot of great things about MDMA and how it can help people who experience PTSD and who experience severe depression. And I would eventually like to work with it. So it's important for me to have experience with something that I'm going to work with. So I would like to give that one a go. MDMA. I was just talking to someone at lunch a little bit ago about trying MDMA and that it like helps release dopamine and I think oxytocin. I'm not really sure. I haven't done very much research into it, but I would really like to try MDMA, and I would like it to be rescheduled.
Side note, please classify
Side note:
this as a regulated.
policymakers, FDA.
Ah, that was great. That was technically the last question. So we're technically done. We're at just under 40, so it's good timing. Is there anything that we covered that you want to add, tweak?
I don't think so. I'll say so. I was looking up like default mode network and neuroplasticity to talk to my students about. And so some of the things that I wrote down um, are that everyone's working on increased cognitive flexibility by interrupting maladaptive patterns. And that's like the sciencey way of saying the thing that I was saying, that like there's a
Yeah,
pause. Like we
I
have to
like the way
learn
you
and
said it.
practice the pause.
I
Yeah.
like the way you said it way
And
better.
then also everyone has a default mode network, so we're all learning to disrupt it and create new pathways. People are using that language, so it might be helpful to say default mode network. Um, and I
How would
gave
you have said that? How would, yeah, give like an example or something. So if we want to cut it in.
yeah, so disrupt the default mode network to create new pathways. And the example is Elliot and Atlas. Elliot's 6, Atlas is 4. Atlas hits Elliot. I'm sorry, let me start up. Elliot takes something from Atlas. Atlas hits. Atlas goes to timeout. Then Elliot takes something from Atlas, and Atlas lifts his hand. Mama reminds him not to hit, and he puts his hand down. And then Elliot takes something from Atlas, and Atlas gets mad but doesn't lift his hand. So he's learning the pause developmentally. And some of us didn't, either the pattern wasn't created well enough to work the same every time. Like some of our parents were not consistent. So we didn't learn a pattern. So we're more disorganized. We're stuck in patterns and we're going to have to recreate them like you would as a child.
That's cool. Maybe I'll have Elliot and Atlas do a story on pausing. Like
I know.
just have
Or just
them.
play my song. Just
Well,
take a
I could ask
deep
them like,
breath.
yeah, what are ways that you, when you get upset, that you can calm yourself down?
Yeah.
That would
Self-soothing.
be
That
self-soothing.
is one of the things we're all trying to learn because,
Hmm.
like PTSD, depression, anxiety, they're all like we can't figure out how to get out of them. We're not able to self-soothe. We're not able, I mean, that's really distilling it down, but that's simply what's happening here. We can't get ourselves out of whatever's happening.
Mm. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I think I'll have them do a little. This will be the one where we'll clip them in. And in the intro, when I re-record the intro, now that we've done it, I'll introduce you from my perspective and I'll talk about the episode. So
Can I go
we
pee?
don't. Yeah, yeah, we're done.
Oh,
You can sign off.
you know what?
You're still
I
on
want to.
video and your headphones, so maybe I'm gonna end it so it doesn't go into the
Okay.
recording. Okay.
Yeah.